afternoon, David Simon. Thank you for taking the time out from your busy schedule. So what brings you to the London Book Fair 2008?
Right, well, many things really. Looking at printers, looking at the whole industry of publishing, but also I'm just preparing for a new book, How to Unlock Your Family's Genius, which is a follow-on from the book How to Unlock Your Child's Genius. So really in preparation for that, I'm just looking at various options in terms of print and design, etc., and just checking out the whole industry. The whole industry is changing so much because of the whole digital age, that we're living in. So that's why I've come, really.
That's really sorry. Okay. Can I ask you another question? How did you first develop your first book? How did that come about?
Well, How to Unlock Your Child's Genius is based on my 21 years of running Ebony Education, which is an Afrocentric education company that I started 21 years ago, and we started with just one child. We were responding to the educational underachievement of black children, and that was 21 years ago, and we've now had about 5,500 children come through our services. So that's how I developed the book, and what we've also found is that the various issues around the child's achievement relates to the family, relates to the community, so that we've looked our style of education or our approach to education is beyond the classroom, as it were. Rather than just focus on what happens in the classroom, we look at the home, we look at the community. That's not to say there aren't issues within the whole education system. So that's how we developed it. It's an 11-step program based on the African Tree of Knowledge, and we look at things such as the curriculum, diet and learning, creative learning, using traditional African games to develop mental arithmetic with the children, like Awari, for example, and look at financial literacy, but we relate the financial literacy again to a cultural context. So rather than just make children learn about money, for example, we might tell them about Black Wall Street, for example, the achievements of say Marcus Garvey, and as well as telling them about how to handle money in terms of investment, saving, spending to help sharing wealth, etc.
So going back to the first book that you published, what was the feedback when people first went through the workshop, the workbook as it were?
Well, the feedback was just phenomenal. That really kind of surprised us, because originally I just wrote the book. It was originally supposed to be just like 36 pages. I just kept going and going. It ended up right now 130 something. And again, it was just based on those 21 years of experience. I also wanted it to be a genre where it just wasn't telling the parent do A, B, C, D, but it had poetry in it. It had short stories in it. It had African proverbs in it, you see, to really give it an Afrocentric, point of view, or an Afrocentric kind of delivery, as it were. And we brought it out. Parents just gave phenomenal feedback. We brought it to a conference. I went in and did a workshop. What happened, I didn't realise that after I did the workshop and I was packing up, everyone who was in the workshop, which was about 200 people, came to my stall, and we completely sold out, of the books that we brought there. And we suddenly realised that we were onto something quite, major. And since then, we've just sold thousands. We've done workshops all over the country, including Africa and the Caribbean. And it's led me to do further research. And now we're very much focusing on Afrocentric learning and the natural learning styles of African people, black people.
So I just wanted to also ask, so the scope of your organisation and the scope of where you come in, is it, if you could tell us more about that in the sense of how it all works, because I know that it's not just the books that you produce, it's not just the work of going into school. There's a complete scope of work that you're doing, and how do you embody all of those things?
Ebony Education, we started off just doing Saturday schools. We now do Saturday schools, we do parenting classes, which are very, very popular. We work with parents, black parents, and showing them how to work with their children, how to transform their homes into learning centres, Afrocentric learning centres. Those are really popular. We also do family learning, where we work with the parent and the child. And we also do teacher training as well. And that's becoming more and more popular amongst schools. Before they wouldn't really approach us, but now they're approaching us, and we are working with teachers on how to deliver to African children, black children. And really, I mean, it's a method that's really good for all children. It's not just African children. And so that's the approach. The approach is that we work in the classroom, work in the home, and we work in the community. And we have various deliveries. So our portfolios is growing all the time. And shortly we'll be doing e-books, where parents can buy these books online, and they can just click and almost have mini courses, see film clips of myself, explaining the book, film clips of documentary footage of black experiences, and also animations.
Actually, coming to that point, I know that you work with another publisher, which is the BLACK Scientists Inventors, which is BIS Publications. So how did that relationship come about, and what are your opinion on those particular titles?
Right, well, I met Mike Williams, who runs BIS Publications, just at, he was exhibiting somewhere, I was giving a workshop, and we just got talking, and a rapport just kind of developed, and we realised that if we worked together, we could really benefit one another, and also share experiences, and network. He's a key person to network with. So we've developed there, and now what we're doing, we are travelling, organising trips to various book fairs in different parts of the world. We're just going to go to the American one, then we're going to go to the one in Africa, and so our relationship is kind of like, developed from there, as we are two Afrocentric publishers, and we realise the value of networking, the value of forming partnerships, business partnerships, etc. And we have our work has just coincided, so it's been really good. It's been very inspirational, to be honest.
And actually, am I correct in thinking that BIS Publications and Ebony Education are now organising a UK Black Publishing Association? Is that correct?
Well, that's right, because what we feel is needed is that there are some very good titles coming out of the African community within Britain, and we really need to get those. We really need to make people aware that that's the case. So we have to go to international venues, international forums, and promote that. So we are going to be promoting that. We're going to the BEA in LA for 2008 shortly, and then we'll be going to the Cape Town Book Fair I think that was in June, to promote the event. So really it's a matter of getting other publishers on board, making them realise that there's a massive market in America, there's a massive market in Africa, and all around the world, to be honest.
In that respect, what are your aims or your achievements that you want from this particular network of publishers?